So today I'm going to do a warm flatbread with Tillamook Muenster cheese and fresh pears. This is a really simple, easy recipe to do, and it's a crowd pleaser. It's one of those things when you put it out, people are going to be really impressed. Little do they know there's 4 ingredients and it took you about 10 minutes to make. So these are store-bought organic flatbread. They're very inexpensive. You can find them in most grocery stores, and they're not refrigerated. They're just out next to the breads. So I've got 2 of them just on a baking sheet, and I've got some really nice extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of this over the flatbread. Then we're going to take the Tillamook pre-sliced Muenster cheese. So depends on what size of flatbread you have, but I'm using about just over 2 slices, 2.5 slices of cheese. You want enough to just sort of cover the center of the flatbread. Then I've got some fresh d'Anjou pears. And you want these about 1/8 of an inch thick. You don't want them too thin, because if they're too thin, they won't really hold up to the heat. And what I'm doing here is making a spiral all the way around. What's going to happen is when these go into the oven, the pears are going to sort of cook and brown while the cheese melts. So you're going to have this beautiful presentation. And again, you want the pears to not go over the top or over the edge. You want them to just kind of hug the inside of the flatbread. So after I do the pinwheel, I kind of throw a couple of little pieces right in the middle to sort of fill the space. Then we're going to take some black pepper, cracked black pepper, just over the top. And then just a couple pinches of salt. It's weird to salt fruit, I know, but it's a savory dish here, so we're not doing these pears as a dessert. This is more of a savory thing, so a little bit of salt is a good thing. So the oven is preheated to 425, and we're going to go 10 to 12 minutes or until the pears get a nice brown top and the cheese is melted and bubbly. In we go. Do your best to keep it near the center of the oven. 425, 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been in the oven for 12 minutes, and I can see through the window it looks great. The cheese is bubbling. The pears have a couple little burnt tips, and you want that. You want to see those little brown to black, just a little edge. The cheese is melted. You got this great color. It just looks beautiful. So I'm going to transfer this to the cutting board. And what we want to do is let this cool for just a few minutes, because I want to cut this now. But if the cheese is too hot, it's just going to start pouring out onto the cutting board. So I want to wait about 2 minutes just so it tightens back up a little bit, and then we're going to cut it. So it's rested a little bit. Now I'm going to cut it. This is a good size for about 6 servings, 6 to 8. So we're going to cut it into little wedges, just like a pizza. Now this can be enjoyed all on its own, but for extra special treat, we're going to make a couple garnishes for it. So what I've got here is just some loose arugula leaves, and I've got a half lemon, and I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice onto the arugula. And what this does is this acidity from the lemon is great with arugula, but it also kind of wakes the pears back up. You know, they've been baked with cheese, so you're going to lose a little bit of their fresh fruit flavor, and this lemon juice really is a nice addition to the pear. We're just going to add a tiny bit of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, and some extra virgin olive oil. So this is our dressing for the arugula. So we're going to sort of just put a couple leaves on each piece. And this is how I would serve it at a, let's say you're doing a cocktail party. I would literally bring it out right on the cutting board to your guests and let them just pick up the pieces. Now, if you aren't vegetarian and you really want to splurge, go for gold and get some prosciutto. This is prosciutto di Parma from Italy. So I'm taking some really thin slices here, and we're just going to sort of put a little piece on each slice here. Look how nice that looks on the plate. This is a beauty. I did a dinner party recently and I served this, and I think it was probably the most popular dish, even more than the entrees. And you don't need a lot of prosciutto. If you go to the store and ask them to slice it thin, you really don't need much. And this is probably 2 ounces total for the whole dish. Just spread them out. A little presentation. So, this is warm flatbread with fresh pears, arugula, prosciutto, and Tillamook sliced Muenster cheese.